Has there ever been a more anticipated clash between these two rivals? Separated by less than 2 miles, there is never a shortage of emotion funneled into the 90 minutes that we are about to witness as the Belmont Bruins make the short trek down Belmont Boulevard for a chance to tie the longest win streak in program history against the number 22 team in the country, the Lipscomb Bisons, who are already off to the best start in program history and have revenge on their minds after last season's loss to the Bruins. It's the 19th edition of the Battle of the Boulevard, and we're excited to bring it to you right here on our YouTube live stream. Welcome in. I'm Lucas Panzica alongside Erica Plunkett. And Erica, final game before the start of conference play for both these teams, but in a lot of ways it carries a degree of importance that neither the SoCon nor the ASUN slate can live up to.
Absolutely. The Battle of the Boulevard means so much to both of these schools. Not only do we have the men's soccer teams going head-to-head tonight, but just across the campus in Allen Arena, the volleyball teams are going head-to-head. This matchup means so much to both of these programs. Historically, Lipscomb and Belmont have battled. They've been in the same conference for a few years, but now it's just for bragging rights, and there's a big old trophy on the other side of the field that they're both wanting to bring home.
And we are underway as it's already in Belmont's half as Noah Golden, the right back with the throw-in, tries to get the Bisons off to a quick start. Lipscomb, the number 22 team in the country, unbeaten in 5 games so far. Everything started off hot with a road trip to California, wins over UCLA and San Diego. Head coach Charles Murrow in his 17th season feels he has something special on his hands here with the Bisons, and Belmont comes in 3-2, a slower start, 2 losses out the gate. Now they've won 3 in a row, and a win here would tie the longest streak in program history under head coach David Costa in his 3rd season, really starting to see the fruits of his labor coming alive as he tries to bring this program back to its winning ways. Coming up short in the SoCon Championship in a bizarre shortened spring season. And a physical tackle to win the ball back by Hayes Wood, the central attacking midfielder, back in the lineup, and it's already a free kick for the Bisons.
We expect to see the Bisons attack early and often here tonight. They already have 15 goals on this season compared to just 5 for the Bruins. For both of these teams, though, we're going to see a lot of action from their left and right backs. Both of them are really more midfielders that double as defenders.
And it's at the back with Kalala. Golden, the captain. Overhead ball lands perfectly in the corner. And the Bisons able to win it back. They'll play a long one out to midfield. Quick whistle.
That whistle blown against Liam O'Brien, the hero for the Bruins, not only in their last game getting the golden goal, but also here against Lipscomb last year, getting the golden goal win in the Battle of the Boulevard. So he's definitely a player to watch out for tonight. We expect to see him match up against Scott Golden and Louis Robinson over on the left side of the field for the Bisons.
Right, O'Brien wearing number 17. You'll see him playing up top, whether it's centrally or whether he drifts wide of that front 3. In that 2-1 win over Georgia State, the most recent win for the Bisons, had the 105th minute winner to hand Belmont its 3rd straight victory. So Lipscomb will look to press the issue here. It's what this team does so well, a high press, the intensity and the fitness of this team at an all-time high if you talk to Coach Charles Murrow. And on the ball now is Dagnoni. Shouts for handball, nothing given. Kalala is up against the back of O'Brien, and it's clipped out for a Lipscomb throw-in. So what kind of matchup do you expect here as we're inside the first 4 minutes? Feel like it's going to be high tempo, high pace? We certainly know that's how Lipscomb wants to play, but I suppose that depends on how Belmont wants to approach this thing.
I think both of these teams, this game means so much. Not only is it a rivalry game right up the road, but you mentioned it's the last game before conference starts this weekend for both of these teams. You want to start conference on a good note. That's hard to do off of a loss. So both teams, I'm sure, will come in with high intensity. Belmont is hoping to figure out how to find more consistency in the goal scoring, and Lipscomb wants to keep it up. Lipscomb has not had a game with less than 2 goals so far this season.
Hayes-Wood surging ahead, tried to slip one into Bagayoko. And it ends up with the captain, Dagnoni, the Milan, Italy native. Tries the pinpoint pass to Saunders, who just can't chase it down. Always an added edge with this matchup. Final game before the start of conference play as Lipscomb heads into the ASUN. Preseason pick to finish 3rd in the conference. Certainly will have sights set higher than that going into the conference slate. Tearing down the right side of the field is Golden. Wood holds up the ball, but ends up back out for a Lipscomb throw.
One player we haven't seen touch the ball yet is Tyree Spicer, the redshirt freshman from Trinidad and Tobago. He has been the player I think that Coach Morrow has been the most excited about. He suffered with some injuries last season, this shortened spring season, so we really didn't get to see his full potential, but he had a hat trick last weekend against Evansville that earned him ASUN Player of the Week. I expect to see a lot out of him. Lipscomb has a lot of really talented freshmen that have already made a difference. Tyrese being just one of them, joining Nauman and Cavalar in the middle, making an impact.
Yeah, Spicer, you'll see him playing on the left flank of that Lipscomb attack as Bagayoko tries to place some pressure on the experienced goalkeeper, Drew Romig.
Drew Romig is one of the all-SoCon players that Belmont has returned. He also was all-tournament last year. You mentioned they just fell short of that championship, but he's a player who knows how to play in tough games. He knows how to command his defense and make sure that they are all working together. But all of the players in this Belmont team have continued to talk about what good team chemistry that they have going on this year. Liam O'Brien talked about it after the win 2 nights ago against Georgia State, and then Dagnoni in the middle, their all-star player, the captain of this team, mentioned it again as they were getting ready for this match tonight.
Saunders, pacey down the touchline. Matched up with Golden, he slips it to the top of the box. Lipscomb able to clear it for the moment, so Belmont trying to formulate their first real threats of the evening.
A great job by Belmont to get that into the middle early. It pushed Scott Golden out of the middle and forced Carlo Cavalar to come down and make a play, but he's been able to do that all season long. He's made a huge impact. You'll see him all over the field for the Bisons, a great distributor and a great defender when called upon.
This is Stiles looking for Saunders. So you'll see Belmont try it down that wide right channel for Michael Saunders, one of the best 1v1 players on this team, on the field tonight as they try to match him up with Lipscomb left back Louis Robinson. Looking to go over the top, trying to get Spicer involved. Can't find the end of it. That's Bagayoko dispossessed, and a free kick won by J.P. Armbruster.
Penalties could come into play in this one. So far on the season, Lipscomb has 9 yellow cards compared to only 2 for Belmont. And in a game that means this much, emotions are high and people are a lot more likely to make a mistake. So definitely keep an eye out for that, how the penalties fall in this one. But that was a little bit of a soft call, in my opinion, on Bagayoko.
Maybe trying to keep this thing under control early as we're in the 8th minute. And both teams just kind of trying to find their footing here as the crowd fills out here at Lipscomb. It's not the only battle of the Boulevard happening on this campus tonight. Also on the volleyball court as Marlinson able to get it over a sliding Bison, and that slipped into the back of the net, but the offside flag is up and it'll come back for a Lipscomb free kick. Golden slid in. Marlinson did well to get it lifted before the challenge, and O'Brien with the finish, but just a hair offside.
Lipscomb has Very lucky that ball was offsides. Kalala went in for the slide tackle and missed, which allowed the Belmont striker to get around him, and then Sibley was caught in a catch-22. If he went further up, then the Belmont player probably would have taken an earlier shot on a much wide open goal, but he decided to back up, and he just wasn't able to back up in time to defend his goal.
It's Noah Golden heading it back into the run of play. Kalala backtracks and safely keeps it out. Here's Cox. The Kentucky transfer. Multiple Power 5 transfers on the field for Belmont. Cox, one of them. Playing at left back. Here's Dagnoni. Such a danger in space, and here you see him utilize it with a pass down the left channel for Chase Cox. Trying to get to the goal line, and a good cutback to set up a squared ball across the 6 with O'Brien there. And is clipped out, but at the feet of Aries Marlinson. Trying the 1-2 straight back to Marlinson. And here come the Bisons. That's Tyrese Spicer. Bagayoko weaves in between Bruins. Down the right side goes Lipscomb, and that is Burl Shepard winning the corner. First one of the night by either team.
That was great movement up top by the Bisons to recover so quickly from that offensive chance by the Bruins and get up the field. But credit to Bannock, who was able to get that ball out of bounds. That would have been either a shot on goal by Burl Shepard or potentially across into the middle. Bagayoko and Tyrese Spicer were not far behind. So a dangerous chance by both teams back-to-back.
Bannock, another one of those Power 5 transfers out of Indiana, a rock in the back, played every minute of last season. Far post header, well wide. I believe that was Golden on the end of it.
But a good adjustment by the center back, Golden, to be able to even get ahead on that ball. We see Scott Golden move up on those corner kicks. He already has a goal this season off of an assist from his brothers. We've seen it the opposite way a few more times of Scott assisting Noah. But both of these players, even though they're on the back line, they're not afraid to move up and attack.
12th minute. At the back with Bannock. Eric Stiles. Offside flag quickly raised as O'Brien tried the run in. Already seeing Belmont trying to utilize some of that space in behind with the Lipscomb press. Just trying to loosen it up and break something free. Really looking to go over the top, it seems, to O'Brien.
And they know they'll have to. They're averaging about 10 shots per game versus Lipscomb's 18. And they have about the same on-goal percentage. So if those numbers stay the same, if both teams are playing as they have, Lipscomb has the clear advantage. Belmont knows they need to attack and not be as, even though they're not a defensively minded team, that's how it's appeared based upon how they've been playing.
Now, Belmont coach David Costa did say early in the week they want to be able to pressure the Bisons, just need to be organized in that effort. So we don't play like they do, but we do a lot of what the game tells us to do. And right now, seems like the game is telling them to beat this Lipscomb press aerially. Noah Golden. Now it's Lipscomb going long. Drew Romig urges his team upfield. A North Carolina transfer. And when you talk about these Power 5 transfers for Lipscomb, you're talking about big-time soccer schools. North Carolina, Indiana, Wisconsin, Kentucky, South Carolina, all up and down this Belmont roster.
And the one thing that Coach Costa has done really well is sometimes you bring in all of those big-time transfers, and the issue is getting them to mesh well because they all come in coming from a big school, coming from some high-exposure games, and they all think that they know what's going on. But this team gets along so well, and they work so well together. So bringing that experience that Romig has in goal and that all these other players bring. It's impressive that not only do they have the talent, but they work well together.
Certainly took a big step in that maturation last season, reaching the SoCon final, following a 1-0 loss to UNC Greensboro in a 7-3-2 spring season. Costa's first winning season at the helm here at Belmont. The fifth coach in program history, spent the last 2 before arriving here in Nashville as an assistant over at Xavier. Dagnoni goes direct to Marlinson. He's got space to work with and can take his time on the ball here. Speedy forward, cuts inside, is at the top of the box. Armbruster tries it from distance. More shouts for handball, nothing given, and here's Tyrese Spicer, who is clipped from behind, and it's a good defensive play by A.J. Chastanet. Back with Cox. Looking to go diagonal. And this is Michael Sibley, Lipscomb's goalkeeper, junior from London. Kalala goes backwards as we're into the 16th minute.
There were a couple of dangerous headers there by Nauman and Kalala. I think Coach Mara would have much preferred to see that ball settled and passed on the ground. You never know how a header is going to deflect, and if a breeze happens to catch it. There was too many Bruins close to that one, I think, for his comfort and for Sibley's comfort as well.
Yeah, some speedy forwards to turn that into a problem Belmont has, and guys like O'Brien, Saunders, and Marlinson. Armbruster. Him and Dagnoni. Able to get it wide to Saunders. This is the matchup Costa wants. Saunders against Louis Robinson, and Robinson able to stick his leg out for a corner kick. First one of the night for the Bruins. Traveling just down the road for the first time in a couple of years. Belmont got the better of Lipscomb last season, 2-1, an overtime game. O'Brien with the golden goal over at Belmont. Bruins have not won on this field since 2004. Service from Dagnoni. It's taken care of. It was good work by Wood.
And great clearance there by Burl Shepard to get that ball out of harm's way. A great one-timer from him.
Bagayoko. Now you've seen Spicer move central as Lipscomb tries to get organized. Golden. Hayes Wood. Falling cross, bounces into Romig.
And we don't see either goalie really rushing their team. They're giving, both Sibley and Romig are giving their team plenty of time to set up deep downfield. That one obviously did not go Belmont's way. Romig kicking that one out of bounds. Neither team seems to be playing with a whole lot of urgency. Obviously it's 0-0, still very, very early in this game. But it seems the intensity has kind of died down a little bit since the opening minutes.
Quick foul. Be a free kick for Belmont. Here's the first crowd reaction of the night. Took about 18 minutes to get there.
And one could argue that was a little bit of a acting game from Dan Yogi in the middle. But one thing to keep an eye out with him is he's their best player, but he is coming off of a serious knee injury just a little over a year ago. So he's going to be more cautious. You're going to see him not try to overdo it, especially on that knee.
Yeah, Dagnoni an ACL injury, was really at about 50% for the majority of last season. Still a productive year for the Italian, but he's really come in strong this season, a goal and 3 assists in 5 matches. Now the standalone second all-time leader in assists in Belmont soccer history. See him operating centrally on the ball now, wearing the captain band on his left arm. Blasts it ahead from Marlinson. Kalala has it covered, but put it straight into the path of O'Brien. Liam O'Brien looks to take it to the goal line and win the corner, and he does. No. Check that, a goal kick for the Bisons.
Kalala really fought through that one to bounce it off of O'Brien at the end. O'Brien questions that call, but I do believe it was the right one.
Does feel like a bit of a stuttered start, doesn't it? Has that surprised you here in about 20 minutes of play?
It has, but at the same time, Lipscomb has scored a lot of goals late. We mentioned that ETSU game just Friday night, so about 5 days ago. Lipscomb scored 2 goals late in that one to tie it up, including one, I believe, in the 86th minute. So Lipscomb, they like to play in the second half. They're a second half team. They came on strong against San Diego late in that one as well. So I'm not surprised from the Bisons. I expected maybe a little bit more intensity, but I think that their goal scoring is going to come late in this one.
Some pressure there from Marlinson causes Kalala to have to poke it out for a corner as he was trying to shield the ball off a bit, maybe inviting Sibley to come scoop it up. Either way, the Bruins will fire one in from the near side. It'll be Dagnoni again. Airmails this one a bit, able to find a head on it, and it's pinballed out for another Belmont corner.
And this is now going to be Belmont's 3rd corner of the game compared to just 1 for Lipscomb, and productive chances off of their corners than Lipscomb did in their 1.
21st minute. On the near side, it's dealt with. Belmont will try to sail it back in. And it's a Lipscomb throw-in.
That was a great clearance by Louis Robinson over on the left side of the field. So far, we haven't seen too much from Saunders, and I think that's a huge credit to Louis Robinson. We haven't had to mention his name a lot, but he's done exactly what Coach Mars asked him to do. We haven't seen him as much on the attack, even though right now he is on the attack, bringing the ball up, but he's done a great job defensively so far today.
Robinson from Nottingham in the UK. Collision and free kick. And that'll be the first chat of the evening, and we may see a card. Not quite yet. May see a few more of those tonight. Quick chat with Hayes Wood.
He was getting a little bit frustrated with Wood, who had walked away from the referee. So Lipscomb's lucky that that was not anything more than a free kick for the Bruins.
Wood, who scored at ETSU a couple of weeks ago. Just a talking to. Bagayoko, quick turn, gets out of pressure.
That move made the fans happy. We haven't really mentioned Bagayoko too much today, but we talked about the young stars that Lipscomb has, but the grad transfer Bagayoko has already come in. He didn't score against Memphis, but he had a lot of chances and really does a good job at getting the ball in up top.
Wood is frustrated, thought there was some type of contact there, won't get any.
A beautiful chance, though, by Hayes Wood to get that ball to curve in towards goal. It seemed clearly out of bounds, but then as it got closer, it was a lot more promising of a chance than it first appeared.
And back with Louis Robinson. One of 4 players to start all 13 matches last year for the Bisons. Kalala. Cavalar. Wide to Golden with a great pass into the box. Was set up well for Wood, who got behind it, but it's off of a Bruin, and Kalala blasts it back into the crowd. Dagnoni. Dispossessed by Golden. Fans starting to rise to their feet here as Wood applies the pressure. It will be a free kick for Lipscomb as they bring it back to about 30 yards away from goal. Golden able to pop back up.
Beautiful placement for a kick here for Lipscomb. We usually see Nauman and Noah Golden line up on the ball, but Golden typically has been taking these kicks. He has scored plenty of goals, including one against ETSU to tie that one up.
Both of them standing over it now. It will be Golden, it appears. Instead, it's Nauman on the left foot, but everything blown dead.
There seems to be a little bit of an issue between, I think that's Hayes Wood once again. So another thing to keep an eye out for Bison fans. Hayes Wood already seems to have a little bit of an issue with some of the Bruins defenders, and the ref has got an eagle eye on Wood. I wouldn't be surprised to see him subbed out pretty soon by Coach Morrow.
This time it's Golden, and he goes for a goal. That's just wide. Caught Romig off guard a little bit and almost snuck it in.
A couple more feet to the left, and that would have been a Bison's goal. Romig was not expecting that shot from Golden. I think he was expecting more of a cross and was preparing for the runs in by the Bison's strikers.
First change of the evening. In comes Marlon Grossman. Out goes Bagayoko.
Grossman did start against ETSU, just his second game of the year. This is now his third action.
And he'll come out to the right side for the Bisons.
Grossman's one of many German players on this roster. Coach Morrow has done a phenomenal job recruiting internationally. Brings a lot of soccer skill and just a soccer culture from other countries where soccer is the main sport. So there's a lot of talent on this team from abroad. I believe right now that at least 9 of the 11 are foreign players for Lipscomb.
So Esteban Leyva steps in along with Kyle Barks. It's Liam O'Brien and Nicola Dagnoni leaving for the Bruins. Certainly expect to see them back in the fold at some point tonight. We'll see if it is in the first half as we're in the 28th minute, and it's teed up on the 6th, saved by Sibley. Follow is deflected, and this is looped to the back post where it's headed away. And that clearance will allow Lipscomb to get reorganized. And it looked like that was Leyva making a quick impact as soon as he comes in for O'Brien.
You see Dagnoni and O'Brien go out, and I think Lipscomb kind of thought they could ease up for a little bit. Those are the 2 talented stars for the Bruins, but the Bruins were able to capitalize on that and get really good chances there.
Bouncing ball collected by Sibley. He goes quickly to Spicer, who has the speed to catch up to it, but he is beaten to the ball. One back by Robinson, and Lipscomb can find numbers here if they're able to push it forward. Spicer dribbles into a tackle. It's out for a Bison possession. 29th minute. Game starting to liven up a little bit. It's a Lipscomb free kick. Getting the first few crowd reactions of the night in this 19th ever meeting between the two programs. Lipscomb leads the all-time series, 9 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws. Shepard gets through Armbruster. Collected by Romick.
These
Bruins.
chances haven't ended how the Bisons wanted them to, but we've seen a lot of really
Game. It's the first time ever that one of these two teams is ranked at the time of the matchup, with Lipscomb currently the number 22 team in the country. Bruins, a program on the rise, expect to compete for a Southern Conference title this year.
And even with that undefeated start, Lipscomb sitting at 4-0-1, you can tell that they definitely have not lost momentum. They've not gotten lazy. They actually dropped in the rankings this week after their tie against ETSU. I know they want to get that ranking back up, stay in the top 25. Coach Morrow is so proud of this team, and you can just tell that the team has plenty of confidence. They are a little bit hurt by the preseason third ranking in the ASUN, and they want to go out there and prove that they are the team to beat in the ASUN this year.
Michael Saunders, he leaves the game for Belmont, the new Bruin on the field. Davis Edelman, the Atlanta, Georgia native, comes in. It's already the 3rd sub for the Bruins.
And we're looking at a totally different lineup up top for the Bruins.
They go long here. Sibley takes care of it. A.J. Chastanet was in.
Coach Costa really just looking for some fresh legs up top, and primarily, I believe, to keep his stars' legs fresh for the second half. He also is well aware that Lipscomb is a second half team, and so they want to make sure that they're ready to go.
Look at Spicer spinning out of tackles, unable to keep it at his feet, but does win the throw-in. Tyrese Spicer, a special player. This staff is so excited about the sophomore from Trinidad.
Spicer already has a hat trick this season, and I don't expect it to be the last.
Cut back by Cavalar. Wood with it after a gorgeous move to get it to him at the top of the box. Deflected out towards midfield. Kalala lifts it ahead towards Golden, and it's a Lipscomb throw-in. Can feel the confidence rising within the Bisons here in the 32nd minute as we enter the 33rd. Louis Robinson. Switches the field. Wood can't get the touch he wants on it. Has to track it at the corner. Golden with a tearing run into the box. Hayes Wood just could never get possession. It's a Belmont free kick.
And there's Hayes Wood in another little bit of a scuffle with a Bruin. He ended up on the ground as well, but the foul will go against Hayes Wood.
Two goals and an assist for Wood, the Chattanooga native. Been active through the first half hour of this one. Here's Chastanet. Sprays it wide. Ball in. Marlinson. Tried the 1-2 between he and Cox. Lipscomb ball. Another Bison sub. Here comes Killian Byrne. Burl Shepard will exit for the moment. Byrne, who's appeared in every game so far, only one start on the year.
And he earned that start after scoring 2 goals in relief against Memphis here at home. He came in the first half and scored late in the first half, and then scored again late in the second half against the Tigers, and that earned him a starting position against ETSU. He comes back today in relief on the bench, but he's a player who can make an impact for the Bisons. He and Burl Shepard play very similarly, so the Bisons don't see any sort of drop-off when they have to sub out Shepard.
So useful to have those like-for-like players when you want to utilize all the subs you're allowed at the college level. Charles Morrow certainly has that at his disposal. 35th minute. No score in the Battle of the Boulevard. 19th ever meeting between the two. Both teams gearing up for the start of conference play. It's funny when you talk to both coaches about this matchup, at least chatting with Coach Costa on the Belmont side. He kind of brought up the trophy for this thing. The Battle of the Boulevard trophy, thing's bigger than the conference trophies.
It is, and seeing the players have to haul it down the hill today to the field, I know Belmont wants to make sure that they're taking it back up the hill and onto the bus to Belmont, and Lipscomb wants it to end up back in their office. They display it proudly. It means so much to these teams. They're only separated by a couple of miles. It's one of the closest rivalries in Division I. They especially highlight that during basketball season, but it's true just as much for these teams. And a lot of the players, I would say that Lipscomb and Belmont are different schools as far as the overall student population, but the athletes, they're recruiting a lot of the same players, especially here in the Nashville area. So the Nashville players on both of these teams, they're players who have seen each other pretty much all the way through club soccer, high school, and there's just a continued fight and a continued rivalry all the way through. As Belmont's getting a decent chance here.
Collision, top of the box, and a penalty's given. Belmont will have an opportunity from the spot.
And a huge opportunity for the Bruins here going up against Sibley. That was a foul against Kalala, but if he had just been a few more steps out, that would have been a free kick instead of a penalty kick and made a world of difference. He felt like he needed to do something immediately to stop a goal.
Case Cox won it. Dagnoni will take it for the Bruins. Back in the game, Nicola Dagnoni against Sibley, rifles it into the top corner, and it's Belmont striking first.
And these are the kinds of chances that you can't prepare for. This goal, it doesn't come typically, and so Belmont all of a sudden has the momentum, even though I would say leading into that, it was pretty evenly matched. So they have an advantage, and Lipscomb is now going to have to fight back through this one.
Little exchange between Belmont players and this Lipscomb crowd, and now this rivalry has come to life. We're inside 9 minutes to play in the first half.
I expect Lipscomb to pick up the pace. There's only 9 minutes left in the half, and it's so important for them to get that goal before halftime and just try to even things out, go into the second half knowing how strong they are in the second half and hopefully able to capitalize on that one.
And there was no doubt about it, was there? Dagnoni with his second goal of the season. First one from the spot. He scored in the opening loss against Missouri State, a 2-1 loss against the number 12 team in the country.
And there was nothing Sibley could do about that one. It was a beautiful shot by Dagnoni.
So how does Lipscomb respond as we close in on the dying moments of the first half?
Well, first they have to defend this free kick, and then I expect to see a lot more action from Louis Robinson and Noah Golden up the sides for the Bisons.
Bodies crash to the ground, and a whistle gives a free kick to Lipscomb. As Esteban Leyva, certainly one guy you have to account for in those moments. At 6'3", the Costa Rican goes to the ground, but they'll say he initiated the contact.
There was actually a couple of Bruins on the ground, but I think they were the ones pushing and shoving, and so Lipscomb gets a chance here to set up top.
38th minute.
And I think they actually gave that foul to Case Cox, the other Bruin, on the ground.
So Dagnoni's penalty kick, the difference as we approach the break in this rivalry game. Marlinson. Dagnoni wanted to switch the field, but stepping in front of it there was Byrne. Sliding in is Robinson, and it's out for a Belmont throw-in.
We know how hard Dagnoni can kick, so it's good to see Byrne not too shaken up from that kick, and then that was followed up by a beautiful slide tackle by Louis Robinson, giving his defense time to set up against the Bruins. And this game continues to be chippy. I think the referees and both coaches, especially the Coach Costa for Belmont, want to get to halftime and hope that no fouls, no cards come out here as they get closer to halftime.
You know, both coaches will kind of downplay it as just the next game, right? But you've seen through about 40 minutes of play, it certainly means more than just another game. Feels like a tone setter when you're going into the conference slate.
It does, and just adding the rivalry on top of that makes it all of that more special. And Belmont has a lot to play for with their win streak. Lipscomb has a lot to prove after that tie against ETSU. They don't want to fall out of the rankings. Being nationally ranked is something they haven't been able to do that many times. And so to keep that streak going and continue to represent Lipscomb at the highest level of college soccer is something that Lipscomb knows they can do, and they want to prove today against the Bruins.
The best start in program history for Lipscomb. 4 wins and a draw in the first 5 games. Don't want that run to end here against their bitter rivals. A hair over 5 minutes to be played in the first half. Golden, captain of this Bisons team. He's really grown into that role, the defending ASUN Defensive Player of the Year. Kalala goes for his twin brother, Noah Golden, on the right side. Foul given on the near side. And Hayes Wood may enter the book here with 4.5 minutes to go. This will be his second or third talking to. And no, he'll stay card free for the moment.
And I agreed. I thought he was about to get a yellow card there from the referee. Usually you only get about one talking to before they're going to pull out that card.
Here's Drew Romig. Was searching for the head of Leiva's 6'3" frame. Sibley happy to take his time here. Kalala. Looking for Spicer. Pass behind him and too strong.
And that pass is a little bit uncharacteristic for Cavalar. He's done a really good job distributing the ball, not only today, but throughout this season. So to miss Spicer by that much doesn't really seem like him.
Cleared away. Can Lipscomb organize one more attack before the break? 3 minutes to go. Marlinson. Louis Robinson backtracks. There was a collision on the far side, and there's a Bruin down. They'll stop the clock. 2:54 left in the first half.
A confusing sequence there because the Bruin player, I believe, was on the ground first.
It was Davis Edelman. Was able to get back on his feet.
But then Robinson followed him to the ground, and Robinson was calling for the foul against Belmont, but I believe they're going to put the foul against Robinson.
And it will be a Belmont free kick.
There's confusion from both Robinson and Coach Morrow, who's come down to the end of his bench and trying to get a word in with the ref.
No, it's just a Belmont throw-in.
A couple great touches there by Killian Byrne just to keep possession of the ball and get it down the field to Tyree Spicer and earn that throw-in. It seemed like the Belmonts had him stopped on 3 different occasions, and he just continued to fight through and make the right touches.
Spicer battling for it. It's out again with just under 2.5 minutes to go in the half. That's certainly a guy they'd love to send down the touchline anytime they can with Spicer's pace. Hasn't quite had the impact Lipscomb would want him to have yet in this first half.
No, and it's very uncharacteristic for him not to be in the box. He really hasn't spent that much time in the box today. Hasn't been a problem for Romig, and that's definitely something that Coach Morrow is going to talk with them about during the half. Romig can't just be sitting back there if they want to win this match.
Under 2 minutes to go. Kalala. Long ball taken care of by Bannock. Dagnoni. Cox won the penalty that Dagnoni converted to give Belmont the lead. Offside flag stays down for Chastanet, and it's saved by the head of Sibley. That'll roll out for a Belmont corner, but A.J. Chastanet had Michael Sibley dead to rights. And how about that noggin making the save for the junior? It remains a 1-goal game with a minute to go.
Amazing save by Sibley. I was shocked, though, that the offsides flag was not up. From when we looked back, it seemed that he was already, I don't know, was already 10 yards past the Bison's defender. So I guess he was onside when that ball was kicked, but speed for the Bruins almost proves costly.
45 seconds to play the corner. Dagnoni applies the service, and it's back with Michael Sibley. So Sibley will keep it a 1-goal advantage for the Bruins.
Sibley's not giving his team as much time to set up after that kick. He was more than willing just to get the ball out of his own defensive third.
Opportunity for Marlinson. Using his pace, going straight at Kalala. He's got Byrne on his back. Now up against 2 Bisons. Kalala able to close it off. 10 seconds to go before the half. Countdown is on. Belmont with a throw-in. Likely won't have any time to do anything with it. Halfway done at Lipscomb. So far, the 39th minute penalty kick by Nicola Dagnoni is the difference. Bruins lead it 1-0 at the break. Back with second half coverage coming up.
The Bison is the goalie, so.
Oh, great. That's good. put it on the actual spot?
I know, that was...
What's up with that?
Earlier. I have no clue.
I don't get that. It's weird. Are you able to find out the referee's name?
They should have put it in by
Yeah,
now,
I
but I
didn't
can
see it in
text
there.
Hannah Joe if I need to.
Yeah, I don't know if the SID is down there.
She is. I can call her. What are the names of the refs? We don't have it on the stat broadcast. Okay, just text me. Thank you so much.
What'd you say?
She's gonna text me too.
Oh, thank you.
They should have started at the original spot and they moved it back for the second round. They shouldn't have started at the original.
Yeah.
I'm shocked we haven't seen John unless there's some reason why he's not out right now.
Oh, yeah?
Because normally we see a lot of action between him and Tyrese.
Okay. Oh, yeah, the subs mess with me because I don't know the players as well as you do just based on appearance. So it's tough when I can't see the numbers.
We also have a student section.
I think Andrew is the only one of any of them that ever plays.
So what's the number one thing you want to see out of the gate from Lipscomb? What kind of the talking point to be?
I want to see Tyrese Spicer do something. Javon also didn't play against ETSU, so I wonder if he was like contact trace or something. Obviously, I don't know.
Right.
I just don't feel like Tyrese is doing a lot.
No, they haven't
Which,
utilized.
I mean,
Yeah, well, they
they
closed
haven't
him off
been
really
able
well.
to, but-
Yeah. They're not. I think they're trying to knock him off the ball, trying to prevent him from being able to use his speed.
And I think if Bagayoko could get the ball somewhere in the middle, he could distribute it up to Tyrese on the left side. But I mean, I've been impressed with Belmont's defense. But then again, like Lipscomb, out of their 15 goals, I was looking at this earlier, I think they have 11 of them after the 45th minute.
Oh, that's a good stat.
Yeah, 11.
Oh, good. Okay, that's perfect.
So
so I'll try messing with it, and then it's like way too bright. Okay. I figured as much because I'd do it. Like I could slightly see one here, and then I look over here, and it's like pitch dark. I'm just like,
You should be fine. So your video work is great. I haven't even zoomed in. So if you just get tired, feel free. I keep it at about 50, I think, typically. I don't know. Because I'm very It looks great, but I just want you to know that it's you get in a situation where you're like, I don't really.
yeah. I like sometimes
Especially when the shadows start getting cast over here, it doesn't really help.
like it's these two corners like just like anywhere close to here, I'm fine. But like sometimes I'll be trying to get them, and it's like way.
Those corner kicks are
And if I'm trying to get like a corner kick right here, right where the camera's angled, this pole just blocks it. It's like, great, I just gotta follow the ball.
Yep. Our old tent would get in the way too.
Oh yeah.
So progress, a little bit at a time. Maybe one day we'll have air conditioning up here. Not while I'm here, but eventually. Hey, how are you?
Belmont has more of a student section than we do right now. We're like, this is our home school. How is this happening? Like
It
our home
happens
game.
though. I hope that we get our basketball like the last 2 years have not had good crowds.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, we did against Liberty, but Liberty brought so many people. It's like freshman year against Liberty, we sold out Allen Arena.
Yeah.
For I think the first time ever.
Liberty's really good.
They're kind of the worst.
Glad we pre-recorded the soccer show. I would not have made it.
Wes Bowling said he's enjoying the call.
Yeah, I love Wes.
116 right now. Wait, yeah, we were up to 160, but a lot of them started off during halftime.
Wes helped me out a lot with Belmont stuff. He sent me a lot.
I think I've lost. You do a lot of stuff on Belmont.
Well, his brother Will, I don't know if you know his brother.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I work with Will on like
I
everything.
didn't realize they were brothers.
Yeah. They're like the same person, but they're pretty far apart. Like Wes is like 12 years older.
Yeah, and I think that's why I probably didn't put them together. Is I just saw
Oh, they're the same person.
one looks older,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Will looks and sounds like the younger version of Wes, because that's what he is. But I do high school football with Will, host the soccer show with Will, do the UT podcast with Will. So I've gotten to know Wes pretty well. Yeah, but at this point, I don't know. I don't even know who's the better option. Because if Milton did start to clean some of that stuff up, accuracy-wise. Halfway done at Lipscomb in the Battle of the Boulevard. A 39th minute penalty kick goal by Captain Nicola Dagnoni is the difference as Belmont leads at the break. And we're back underway for the second 45. Lucas Panzica, Erica Plunkett with you for a gorgeous crowd, an amazing atmosphere here at Lipscomb University. And at the moment, it is Belmont with the advantage. And Erica, as far as what Lipscomb needs to do here, is they already surge ahead with Burl Shepard trying to make something happen in the final third. You want to see more involvement from some of the guys up front, specifically somebody we talked about in the first half, wasn't quite as involved as you would like, and he's not on the field at the moment. Tyrese Spicer, has it surprised you the lack of impact he's had so far?
Absolutely. Tyrese Spicer has been lights out all season long, caused problems for all sorts of defenses, even at the top level of soccer, the Power 5 teams. he hasn't had a problem going up against some very tough competition, but this afternoon we haven't seen very much from him at all, and clearly Coach Morrow agrees that he hasn't seen enough from the sophomore from Trinidad and Tobago, so he's going to leave in Marlon Grossman. This is only his third game that we've seen him play, but he likes what he saw from him late in that first half, and they expect to get going here in the second half. Lipscomb is a second half team, though, so we're not surprised that it's taken them a while to get going. 11 of their 15 goals have come in the second half.
And here come the Bisons. Hayes Wood wide. Bakayoko tries to square it in for Shepard. That's clipped over the top, also intended for Shepard. Too much under it. And it's a quick start to the second half for the Bisons. Free kick, contact there. Hitting the ground is Luka Nauman. There's Halala. Committed the foul that led to the Dagnoni PK goal. Miscommunication up front.
One thing I've already enjoyed seeing in this second half is Bagayoko has had a couple passes up top, and I think that was one thing that definitely was missing for the Bisons. He's really proved to be a great distributor up top. His experience coming in as a graduate transfer has opened up a lot of opportunities for the Bisons.
Transferred in from Cumberland, 3 assists in 5 games already this season. Lipscomb trying to preserve the best start in program history. 4 wins and a draw in the first 5 games, as Belmont looks to tie a program record for wins in a row. They're coming in on a 3-game win streak after losing the first 2.
And Lipscomb also hopes to complete the sweep of the Battle of the Boulevard today. The volleyball team bounced back with a 3-0 sweep of Belmont just a few moments ago across campus.
And you've certainly seen remnants of that crowd make its way over to the soccer field here with a great environment for this rivalry matchup. Would certainly be a special win for Belmont, though, if they could preserve it. Not only tying that program record for wins in a row, but be the first road win here on this field since 2004, setting the stage for them going into SoCon play. Wood, deflection, sends the ball into the scoreboard, but it'll be a Lipscomb corner kick.
So far in the first 4 minutes of the second half, Lipscomb really has controlled the pace of this game. We've seen a lot more aggression from a lot of the players, not only up top, but Noah Golden has come up and attacked a lot more in that one possession than he did for much of the first half, really.
Lipscomb, in the all-yellow kits against Belmont's all-red, has had the livelier start to the second half. It's in the corner, floated in nicely. Belmont's there to clean it up. Backwards go the Bisons. Looped in for Bagayoko and punched clean by Romig, and he's the one who wins the free kick. Started every game for the Bruins. The SoCon Defensive Player of the Week after his performance against Georgia State last week. It's in the family. Romig's sister played goalkeeper at UT, as you heard the sarcastic applause for the ball rolling into the back of the net. Love to see that. These Lipscomb fans would. At some point tonight, the Bisons have yet to be shut out this season.
In fact, they have not scored less than 2 goals in every matchup, so it hasn't even been low-scoring games for the Bisons. They're a much more offensive team, due in part to what we see Louis Robinson and Noah Golden do from the back line. They're really midfielders who come back and get some bodies on the back line for Lipscomb when they need to.
And it's funny, they're listed as midfielders on the match notes coming in, though they do play along that back line. and listed as defenders on the roster. Interesting to see them have that label on the game notes for this specific matchup.
And Louis, early on in his career, did play more midfield as the Bisons had a more experienced back line.
Saunders, a shifty player, excellent in 1v1 situations. David Costa wanted to exploit that matchup against Louis Robinson, and Saunders does win that battle there against Robinson, winning the free kick in a dangerous area for Dagnoni to provide service. Second all-time leader in assists for Belmont. He's got 3 this season.
And Dagnoni's already done it once off of a set piece tonight.
Try scored the penalty kick in the 39th minute, which
And
is
we
the difference right now.
Almost saw Noah Golden get one in from a similar position early in the first half.
It goes straight into Golden. Scott Golden. Tried to play it intact. Free kick, Lipscomb, in almost the exact same area on the other side of the field. Going down there was Grossman.
And I think Stiles knew that Grossman had him beat. There's no offsides on throw-ins. Grossman got ahead of him, closer to the goal, and he didn't really have much of an option, he felt like, but to drag down Grossman. But this opens up the Bisons. Noah Golden got this one really close, about the 20th minute of the first half. Can he finish here?
An all-ASUN first-teamer last season. Loops it into the back post, and it's bounced across and over the bar for a corner kick. Last-ditch defending by Belmont. Didn't see the Bruin that got the final touch on it to force the corner. But what a defensive effort. Believe it was Jack Shaw wearing number 11 on his back, and Lipscomb will continue to try to apply pressure.
And perfect placement by Noah Golden to get it into his brother Scott. They like to joke on the team, they've got a little bit of a twin connection. There's a lot of assists and goals between the two of them.
Here comes the corner. Romig missed the punch. It was teed up beautifully for Golden, and another corner coming for Lipscomb. He had Romig completely off his line, and that's more desperate defending for the Bruins. Now back up against the wall a little bit in the early portion of the second half.
And maybe third time is a charm for the Golden Boys here.
They'll play it short. That'll be too strong. It does land for Shepard. He gets a heavy touch on it. Is able to keep it in play. See if Lipscomb can keep the threat alive. Left-footed service by Robinson. That's a nice little back heel by Grossman, but not enough to trouble Romig.
A lot of great chances from the Bisons, things that we've gotten used to seeing for them that was really missing in the first half. Keeping up this intensity could really put the Bruins off balance and maybe give the Bisons a chance to get a goal here, give Coach Marr a little bit more confidence, and bring in Tyree Spicer to continue that momentum, because we know that he can get going against pretty much any defense.
Try Spicer played the entire first 45, starting the second half on the bench, leading this team in scoring. You certainly expect him to come back in, just a matter of when, as the Bisons look to make up the 1-goal deficit. Conference play on deck for both of these teams, and they'd certainly love to head into it with the trophy. Robinson against Shaw, rolls it across. Golden able to shield O'Brien off the ball. He certainly put his stamp on this game, the senior from Norway. Robinson clipped it straight to Romig, and that ball was knuckling straight towards the senior, who had to punch it down to himself, but does take care of the danger.
Romig is seeing a lot more action here in the second half than he saw all of the first half.
Just had to corral that whipping ball in by Robinson. That had an interesting spin on it.
And it really has been the two backs for Lipscomb who have made the offensive impact so far in the second half. We haven't seen a whole lot from Burl Shepard. He's had some good passes, but no real chances from Burl Shepard, Hayeswood, or Bagayoko to start the second half.
Golden. Scott Golden, the captain. Lipscomb settling into possession here. They've really had the bulk of it since the start of the second half. Kalala. Cavalar. Robinson has space all the way on the left side of the field, but they'll have to keep it on the far side, and it's a good decision. Direct to Wood. Wood, Bakayoko, it's wide. And here comes the change for Belmont.
Another great chance from Lipscomb, and one of the first we've seen from their strikers. I know a welcome sight for Coach Morrow. And Michael Sibley, though, on the opposite end for Lipscomb, can't get too comfortable standing back there. He has to stay on his toes because we know that Belmont can turn it right back around with Dagnoni and O'Brien. And O'Brien now has the ball for the Bruins.
And they're going to look to do that here. Saunders, a product of the Southampton Youth Academy in England, can't chase it down. The change Belmont made is A.J. Chastanet making way for Esteban Leyva, a Coastal Carolina transfer. O'Brien tried to thread it through for Leyva, won a free kick in the process. So you see Leyva playing that center striker role.
And that is now the 12th foul for Lipscomb in this game, 9 for the Bruins. We aren't really shocked to see it be chippy in this game, but as the pressure amps up, it'll probably only get worse.
Floated into the box by Dagnoni. Falls out to Marlinson. See if the Bisons can open something up here.
A lot of saves there by Lipscomb, but Belmont comes away with that possession. Both of these teams are playing soccer right now that's going to get them very tired out late in this half. Neither team has really controlled possession and been able to just settle back and pass the ball strategically.
It has felt a bit frantic on both ends, hasn't it? Half an hour to play.
And frantic soccer is where we see mistakes be made, and that was what happened in the first half with that penalty kick that the foul on Kalala caused.
39th minute was Kalala fouling O'Brien just on the edge of the 18, and Dagnoni, a no-doubter into the top left corner of Michael Sibley's goal. Made it 1-0 Belmont just before the break. Here's Michael Saunders, space in front of him with Robinson tracking back, and he does very well to tackle the Southampton products. Now here come the Bisons. Brought down from behind is Bagayoko, and I believe we will see a card here. Well, the clock is stopped. So correction, no booking yet.
Our head referee has been kind of generous today with a number of calls.
Amin Hadzik, center referee on the night.
I've seen more cautions from Hadzik so far tonight than you normally see in a soccer game. A lot of refs are much more likely to go ahead and just book the players.
Right, especially in a high-intensity rivalry matchup like this one. Seen a lot of second and third chances so far. I wonder how many more we'll get in this tense battle between two teams separated by only 2 miles. Another corner for Lipscomb. Golden. Straight into the center of the box to his brother, and it's rifled in. Bagayoko picks up the loose ball, pounces on it, and Lipscomb draws level.
Once again, perfect placement by Noah Golden into his brother, and great follow through by Lipscomb to continue to fight for that one, not let Belmont clear it. And Bagayoko, the grad transfer, makes a huge impact as his teammates surround him over on the sideline. And now this game is level once again. And in this circumstance, it goes to Lipscomb's advantage. Lipscomb is a second half team. They have 15, now 16 goals on the season compared to just 6 for the Bruins. So Belmont's gotta keep up the intensity if they want a chance to win this one. But both of these teams are coming off of overtime games. They know that they want to get this one done in regulation, if at all possible. So I expect to make the next 28, 29 minutes very, very exciting.
The first goal of his Lipscomb career, the graduate transfer who came over from Cumberland, originally from the Bronx in New York, on the ball now. And it's a 1-1 game as he rattles in a pinball opportunity that fell to him in the middle of the box. We'll see if this springs this game open.
Well, I can already tell the intensity from both teams has picked up. It seems like both teams were calling for a foul there when Bagayoko got tripped up and went down alongside Jack Shaw.
This crowd still waiting on the goal to be tallied officially on the scoreboard.
We have it on our stat sheet, but not yet on the scoreboard, and I wonder if that's more of a technical issue than a score issue.
Yeah, no doubt. It is a 1-1 game, and there it goes. In the 62nd minute. Students making their voices heard. Lipscomb trying to stay unbeaten going into ASUN play.
For both of these teams, no matter how this game ends up, you could not have imagined a more perfect night, a rivalry game with two of the best starts in program histories for both of these teams. A full crowd here, perfect weather. This is just really a perfect night for soccer and a great time to be a Bruin or a Bison.
'19th all-time meeting between the two. A 9-7-2 advantage for the home team, the Bisons. Belmont hasn't won here since 2004. And last time out, it was a drama-filled double overtime winner by Liam O'Brien that gave Belmont the victory in the Battle of the Boulevard. That was a year ago, a 2-1 win for Belmont. Lipscomb looking to take back the trophy at home. Bagayoko from distance over the bar. But smatters of applause from the crowd that loved the confidence from the grad transfer who's already drawn the Bison's level.
And even though that shot was high, the ability to thread that one through, it seemed like 3 or 4 defenders for the Bruins was impressive by Bagayoko, but the concern for the Bisons goes to Honore Kalala, who's down, being assisted by his teammate Scott Golden.
Being stretched out, looks like cramping issues for Kalala. Now both teams will take the opportunity for a water break.
It's great weather here, but it is humid, so.
75 degrees, partly cloudy night in Nashville as Kalala's helped up. .81% humidity.
And hopefully cramping is all that was. Coach Morrow has to come out in the field to go check on his center back. Sibley comes up. I'm not sure who the Bisons are going to choose to put in, but I wouldn't be surprised to see William Turner, who started in place of Kalala against ETSU. on Friday.
JP Armbruster is back in the game for Belmont. He's replaced Kyle Barks. So we didn't say his name much so far tonight, but Armbruster, a critical player for the Bruins, a Louisville transfer, a relentless worker according to his head coach. Box to box, often controls the pace of play for the Bruins. As you see him hit the ground there and win a free kick as soon as he comes back in.
Lipscomb are not a fan of that call against Yanyogi in the middle. I think they feel like he may have milked that one a little bit, but we mentioned he's going to be more cautious on that knee. Still mostly recovered from a knee injury, but when you have a knee injury as severe as he did with the ACL, MCL, he's going to be more cautious.
Certainly was not fully healthy throughout all of last season. Back to full strength now, but they do want to preserve their talisman going into SoCon play. That's squared across nicely by Saunders and out for a Belmont free or corner kick. Correction, it is a goal kick.
Great job by William Turner, who has come on to replace Honore Kalala to fight against O'Brien on that one. Turner has a big opportunity to prove himself to his coach, but also a big challenge going up against O'Brien, who Belmont is very high on and knows how dangerous he can be.
Turner on the ball now. Local product from Father Ryan High School, the all ASUN freshman team last season. Out for another Lipscomb corner. Seventh one of the evening for the Bisons.
And that number has really shifted since the first half. Lipscomb starting off with 2 or 3 in the opening minutes of this half, giving them a number of great chances. So I expect to see another great placement by Noah Golden.
It's a low ball whipped in by Golden. Collision. Free kick and a card. Finally, you see one come out. And I believe that was Case Cox on the receiving end of it. The Belmont left back, Kentucky transfer.
And if you're Belmont, you're probably a little upset that that's when the ref finally decides to book a player. There was a couple of Lipscomb fouls in the first half that were very similar to that, but it was for sure a foul, and I'm not going to argue with a card there because that was a dangerous play against Luca Nauman coming up from behind. But it does set up the Bisons here, giving either Nauman or Golden a chance. Both are capable goal scorers. So I don't know if they'll try to cross this one in or get a goal off of it.
It's Nauman to take it. He slips it into Golden, who wins yet another corner kick for Lipscomb.
And Lipscomb has now doubled up Belmont on corners, 8-4. It seems like the momentum is almost fully in Lipscomb's favor right now, even though the game is still tied.
Bouncing ball on the ground, trickles out to Robinson, uses a powerful left-footed strike. Narrowly misses the post, and they'll call it a deflection off of a Belmont Bruin for the 9th Lipscomb corner of the evening.
Sometimes you get a little bit nervous or frustrated if a player takes a shot from that far out, but Louis Robinson is a player that we know is very capable of getting a shot from that deep. He has Coach Morrow's full trust, and obviously it's well earned.
2 goals this season, one of those from the spot and a penalty kick against ETSU, but he wins a corner here. This is a high lofted ball. A head is found on it. Bagayoko tried to close in. It's cleared straight up and out by Belmont for a Lipscomb throw-in. And it does feel as though the vast majority of this second half has been played in this half of Belmont. And here comes Tyrese Spicer.
If you're Belmont, even though they were able to keep Tyrese Spicer contained in the first half, you have to be a little bit nervous because this is a fresh set of legs. And Lipscomb, who has consistently been on the attack for the last 22 and a half minutes, it only gives them even more of an advantage here.
So Spicer replaces the goal scorer, Bagayoko, wearing number 20. You'll see him on the edge of the 18. Fresh legs. It's his first appearance of the second half after playing the entire first 45. And this staff, Erica, cannot say enough good things about Spicer. Really almost a historic player for this group.
For sure. Coach Morrow, when I talked to him this spring before the spring season, that was a little bit unique. The one player that I think he talked for about for 15 minutes was Tyrese Spicer. He hadn't even gotten to, I think he met him like the week before and could not stop saying enough good things about his work ethic, his talent, everything that he brings to this team. And to finally get to see him fully healthy this year and to have a full off season with this program and see what it's done for him and this team, it's easy to see why he was so excited back then and continues to be as excited about Tyrese Spicer.
See him exiting in the bottom right corner of your screen there as the offside flag goes up for a Belmont free kick. Spicer, a guy from Trinidad, currently a sophomore. Charles Murrow received a call from a former player of his, also from Trinidad, a guy who had never called him about a player before and said, I got to tell you about this kid. Spicer's still in high school at the time in his home country. So Charles Murrow called a friend of his, the technical director of FIFA for the Caribbean, and this person told him Spicer is the best prospect for the Trinidadian national team that he has ever seen coming out of high school. Never saw him in person before his arrival to Lipscomb. As you said, he's the only player in Murrow's 17 years where that is the case. And 4 goals, 2 assists, including a hat trick in the first 5 games of this season. He is the ASUN Player of the Week after his hat trick against Evansville.
But Coach Morrow is someone who, if it's a former player telling him to check out a player, he has so much trust in his former players. He actually has 2 of them on staff right now. He is Danny Vieira, who is on the staff as a volunteer assistant, a former Lipscomb player out of South Africa. And then he also has Micah Bledsoe, his former goalkeeper out of Cincinnati, Ohio, who is now the goalkeepers coach here. He trusts these players. He loves having them around, and they just have a really good team environment. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that he went off the word of one of his former players to get Tyrese, and a great job by the former Bison to get a new Bison on campus who is clearly making a huge positive impact for Lipscomb.
But can he make enough of an impact here for Lipscomb to remain unbeaten on the year, add their 5th win going into ASUN play? Spicer on the left wing at the moment. It's all the way back to Louis Robinson. This is Spicer on the ball. Bit of space around him. Opts to play it central and nearly turns it over, but it's won quickly back. Stops on a dime. And Robinson plays it straight back into the arms of Drew Romick.
And a lineup change to pay attention to on the back line for Lipscomb. Scott Golden, who normally plays left center back, has now moved to right center back with William Turner coming into this game. So that'll be interesting to see. He's more comfortable on the left side. That's where he crosses from typically. So he's more than capable of being on the right side, but that does affect a few things for the Bisons.
Robinson's put that in a spot where Spicer can get to it, but not that time. And would you say that's because William Turner, a younger player, a sophomore, not nearly as experienced, maybe a little more comfortable on that side in the back line?
Coach Morrow wants to keep William Turner as comfortable as possible. William Turner is another player that he's really high on, but especially on the back line, I think more than any position in soccer, having that experience is so crucial. The communication also between your goalie, when Sibley and Golden, who have both been here, this is now their 4th year, it definitely makes things a lot easier to have that experience and that chemistry to build off of.
Spicer across the face of Romig's net on the back post. Another corner one.
And almost a great chance by Luca Nauman to chase that ball in. Actually, I believe that's Noah Golden who chased that ball in for the kick. And at the least, it gave Lipscomb a corner kick and could potentially set up a goal for the Bisons.
73rd minute. Feels like all the momentum backing the Bisons at the moment. Can they capitalize? Well delivered ball by Golden. Here's Turner. Looped right back to Golden. It's a good pass by the sophomore. Spicer's able to come back to pick it up. Quick turn on Armbruster, heavy touch. Got away from him at the top of the box. And it's a well-placed challenge by Louis Robinson. Well, now a free kick is given. A Bruin is down. Lipscomb fans unhappy.
I felt like that was a clean tackle by Louis Robinson. He clearly got the ball.
Well, and you can see the Belmont player down immediately motioning for a sub. So was some type of contact. Question is, did it come after Robinson swept the ball away? Either way, it will be a Belmont free kick. As we're into the 74th minute. 1-1 game. 39th minute penalty by Nicola Dagnoni put the away team in front. Lipscomb equalized as Bagayoko pounced on a loose ball in the box for his first goal as a Bison.
And since Spicer has been in this game, Dagnoni actually went out for the Bruins, so they haven't had their captain on the field for the last few minutes. But the kick by Robinson, it had to be a powerful one because he got a lot of his foot on the ball, but just with whatever was left of it, it could be a serious injury for the Bruins. They are stretching him out, so potentially some sort of cramp situation like we saw with Kalala not too long ago. I think that's Edelman who went down for the Bruins.
Yeah, Edelman will be helped up and off the field. His day may be over. An Xavier transfer from Atlanta.
And both teams were able to go talk to their coach with just a little over 15 minutes left in this game. Both hungry for that last goal. The fans here are hungry for another goal. And so I expect the next 15 minutes to be some of the most exciting that we've seen tonight. I believe they're going to take away the foul as Belmont's Jack Shaw is getting ready to throw the ball in.
That's right, they call it a throw-in. So Michael Saunders in for Edelman. Saunders, who just left for Aries Marlinson, has to come right back in. Here's Spicer. Nauman. Threaded ball down the flank. Bagayoko, the Lipscomb goal scorer tonight.
And this is the first time since the game started that we've seen Bagayoko and Spicer in together. Just a minute ago, Spicer replaced Bagayoko, but now Bagayoko comes back in for Grossman. So a different striker lineup than we've seen for the last 35 minutes of the game.
Golden sweeps it away, at least for the moment. JP Armbruster tries to get the Bruins reorganized as Bagayoko tries to break that up. One back cleanly by Lipscomb. Not many options there. So what happens on a draw here? Belmont keeps the trophy?
I don't know where the trophy goes.
Would have been a good question to ask one of these two coaches before the game. Certainly, I don't think either of them would have wanted to entertain the idea of a draw on the night, and still 15 minutes to be played.
Yes, and we've seen Lipscomb. We mentioned that 11 of their 15 goals have come in the second half, but 5 of their 15 goals have come anywhere from the 75th to the 90th minute. So this last 15 minutes, Lipscomb's very comfortable with it. They had 2 goals against ETSU to tie up that game just a few days ago. They still think that they have plenty of soccer left to play. It might be a little bit different for the Bruins, but this is basically the middle of the game for the Bisons.
76 minute.
And there hasn't been a tie in this matchup in quite a long time. I think there's only 2 ties all time, but not in the last 12 years has there been a tie between these 2 programs. Although, like we mentioned, the game in the spring, in March, went to double overtime before Belmont was able to score that one, a golden goal game winner, 2-1 against the Bisons at Rose Park.
And Liam O'Brien, the goal scorer in that game, had a golden goal against Georgia State. In Belmont's last outing in the 105th minute.
And Liam O'Brien is a player who has been crucial for the Bruins, but we haven't really seen or talked about at all today. It's been Dagnoni and then Saunders who have really caused problems for the Bisons.
Dagnoni scored the penalty kick in the 39th minute that gave Belmont the lead. Lipscomb equalized in the 61st, thanks to Bagayoko. Dagnoni is back out on the field now, right in the middle of the center circle at the moment.
Neither of these teams are playing for a tie, nor are neither of these teams playing for overtime. They're bringing out their stars. They're getting ready to battle for the next 12 and a half minutes.
A card is shown to a Bison.
I believe that might be against Bagayoko. He's the only Bison standing close. But that's actually a yellow card on Belmont. At least listed in the stat sheet, but that must be an error because Belmont's taking the free kick.
Looked like it was almost directed towards Killian Byrne.
You are correct. They did just update
So it
the
is
stats.
Byrne who picks it up. And that's the second yellow of the game, first for the Bisons. Dagnoni taps his chest. Quick apology to Saunders. And it's a goal
Byrne
kick.
getting that yellow has come on in relief of Hayes Wood. I think we both believed Hayes Wood would be the first Bison to get a card in this one, but
Certainly came close a couple times, didn't he? Possible danger by Belmont, thwarted by Turner. Had to come into the game. A little late for Kalala. And he's cleaned up well alongside Scott Golden on that back line. Spicer applies the pressure on Romig. His clearance goes directly up. Marlinson unable to corral it. Here's Louis Robinson. He's just gonna try to drive that across. Nobody really there.
the last couple of chances for the Bisons, they really just haven't been able to get numbers up. Louis Robinson has had a number of either close goals or close crosses, whatever he decides to call them at the end of the day, but no one has been there to follow through and finish for Lipscomb.
Davis Edelman has made his way back into the game after being helped off just minutes ago. Believe he takes off Michael Saunders. Spicer. Bagayoko tried to leave it for Shepard, who's on the ball now. Dagnoni dispossessed. Robinson plays it centrally. Lipscomb now just trying to get organized. trying to manufacture a late winner. Had a late equalizer against ETSU in that comeback that you mentioned, Erica. 86th minute. Scott Golden, the one who found the back of the net. The left-footed finish from an assist by his brother Noah. And now Noah floats that back post. Spicer is there, and it's headed away.
That was just outside of the reach of Tyree Spicer, but I think Noah Golden has been the best pass distributor for the Bisons. It doesn't really surprise anyone because he's done that all throughout his career, but especially in these last 25 minutes, he's had corner kick, free kick, throw in, pass, every single time has pretty much been on target exactly where he wants it to go. That one just away from Tyree Spicer, but still another chance for Lipscomb with 9 minutes left in this match.
Another corner for the Bisons. Golden kind of lands right on the 6, clattered around in the box, and Belmont trying to spring something here.
There seemed to be a miscommunication there between Killian Byrne and Burl Shepard, both chasing after that ball. I believe if Burl Shepard had stayed further out, he could have potentially collected that ball as it got kicked out by the Bruins, but they both crashed in and kind of disrupted each other. Lipscomb happy to get a throw-in off of that one in Bruin territory.
Esteban Lestido in for Belmont. He replaces Esteban Leyva. '82nd minute. The Battle of the Boulevard on the line. A trophy that rivals both the ASUN and Southern Conference Championship trophies, at least in terms of size. Belmont hoisted it a year ago. Can Lipscomb snatch it back on home soil?
If you ever get the chance to take a look at that trophy, it's a very interesting design, and it has a couple wings off of the soccer ball, and they've actually been broken off a couple times from what I've heard. So
it's good. Give it some character.
Exactly.
Spicer, left side of the box. Tried to whip that in towards the left corner, and you can just feel a notch in energy rise up in this crowd whenever he's at, on, or near the ball.
He brings that kind of enthusiasm. They keep joking every time that he scores a goal that he brings the spice, being Tyree Spicer, but you can just tell that he's a special player. He not only brings energy when he's on offense, but you can tell when he has to come back. He just is that kind of player who plays. He's very skillful, and so when he's making passes or doing fancy footwork, he just brings excitement wherever he is on the field, but especially when he's close to the goal box.
Cavalar turns it back for Golden to his brother Noah. Hits him in stride down the right flank as he takes it to the corner, trying to win yet another one. Lipscomb just trying to maintain the pressure. Bruin down, 2 Bruins down. And we'll stop play here. The clock will continue.
Seen a lot of Bruins on the ground so far in this matchup. A few Bisons, but
Saunders was one. He's up and walking it off.
and we are now up to 27 fouls total between these two teams. Doesn't really come as a shock, knowing how exciting this game is meant to be and knowing how important it is to carry positive momentum into conference play. Belmont's going in against a lot of very similar teams, but Lipscomb's got a totally different conference this year in the ASUN, 3 teams joining. So it'll be an intriguing matchup as Lipscomb's conference play continues, and they're going to have a few more surprises than they typically do. They're going up against Bellarmine this weekend at Bellarmine up in Louisville, one of the newer teams to the conference. They did play against them last year as the Knights joined, but joining this year, you have Central Arkansas, Eastern Kentucky, and Jacksonville State to the ASUN Conference.
Robinson couldn't take advantage of a slip by Edelman. That's away for a Belmont throw-in. Under 5 minutes to go. Overtime looming. Edelman surrounded by Bisons. Spicer. Barks.
Belmont has done a good job of shifting this game to the middle third for the last few minutes of the game. And now they're really getting into the offensive attacking third late.
Saunders whipped that in. Couple of Bruins there, but Golden at the forefront defensively for Lipscomb. Bagayoko. Good control. He's tripped up. Free kick. Clock stopped. And another card coming against Belmont. And it will be Armbruster. 86-minute card.
Once again, not where I thought I was going to see the yellow cards. There's a couple other fouls earlier where I thought it was going to be pulled out, and it wasn't. So this kind of, I felt like Belmont was starting to get some momentum and some positive plays, and now it seems like Lipscomb has got the wind back in their sails, going the opposite direction here, set up perfectly.
Inside 4 minutes remaining. Wood wanted the back heel to Spicer. It was cut off. O'Brien out to Saunders. Michael Saunders will turn on the Jets. Noah Golden does just enough to disrupt him.
Golden hoping he did just enough more to earn himself that throw-in. But unfortunately for the Bisons, it will go out off of Golden, giving Belmont a chance now to set up.
It's a clean challenge for the Bisons to formulate a counter. Spicer in a foot race. Romig wins it.
There was a couple defenders going back against Tyrese, but all the fans were on their feet. They knew that Tyrese could easily take on a couple of those defenders if need be. Romig just beating him out to the ball.
Here comes Lipscomb at the foot of Bagayoko. Too many Bruins to weave through there. And that's good work by Nauman to get it out wide to Golden. Able to shoulder off for Bruin, provide good service for Bagayoko. Punch clear by Romig. Still alive for Lipscomb. Under 2 minutes to play. And now a whistle. A few extracurriculars happening on the near side. A Bruin hits the turf. And emotion spilling over from the home crowd here at Lipscomb. A jam-packed environment for the Battle of the Boulevard. No bookings here as Amin Hadzik just tries to clean things up.
And in all that excitement, it kind of, the original foul seemed to get lost. In the midst of that, they were calling it closer to the 18. back line for the Bruins going over and talking to their goalie. But they are eventually going to call a foul there, giving the Bruins a free kick that Romig will come out to take. And they will, I think, give that yellow to Louis Robinson for the shove.
4th of the game, 2nd for Lipscomb. So Robinson picks it up in the late stages here.
And I'm a little confused because they blew the ball dead in the middle of the box. And then Robinson's foul was actually after they had blown the play dead, but that is where they will be taking the free kick.
We've reached that moment here where this crowd hinged on every moment. Minute 20 left on the scoreboard. Our official stats here say we're still in the 86th minute, but according to the scoreboard on the field, 70 seconds remain as Spicer surges into the final third. And at this point, Belmont likely looking for overtime. 1 minute to play.
But the Lipscomb fans on their feet are definitely not.
Cavalar. Wide to Golden. He's got space to provide service. It's just high, but knotted out for a Lipscomb corner. And this could be the final opportunity to snatch away a winner with 30 seconds to go and counting. They come to take it quickly. Nauman tees it up for Golden. Bisons crowding the box. 15 seconds. Punched out by Romig, still in play. It's clipped back in, and with 5 seconds left, it sails over the bar. It's going to take more than 90 minutes to separate these two.
We knew this one was going to be a tough matchup from start to finish. I don't know if we necessarily expected a back-to-back overtime games for both of these teams, but this is where your endurance and really everything else gets tested. And even though both teams would rather walk away with a win in regulation, I think both coaches are going to be grateful for some more overtime experience as they prepare for conference play this weekend.
Well, and fitness, such a huge point of emphasis for Charles Murrow. When you talk to him about this team's style of play, obviously a high-pressing unit. It's found them so much success in the early part of the season, the best start in program history. And he can't say enough about the way this team approached the season from the offseason, and the fitness level is among the highest he's ever seen it in his 17 years at Lipscomb.
And one thing especially that this team has going for them, not only the fitness level that he requires every year, but they haven't really struggled with injury. Obviously, knock on wood, we don't want to wish that on them, but in past seasons they've had issues with injury, and it's really been hard for, even though they've had the endurance and they've had the fitness, they haven't had the depth to be able to compete late in these games. And so far this season, Lipscomb has been able to fight through long games with some very tough competition, and have been able to do so relying on the depth on the bench. We've already seen it so far today. One player that we haven't seen, and we don't know exactly why he didn't play at ETSU either, is Javon Smith, who really is a key piece to this offense. So I know if Lipscomb had him available today, we would likely have already seen him. But that is one thing as far as depth goes for the Bisons that we are not seeing as much.
He's provided 1 goal and 1 assist on the season, but hasn't participated yet. And several Bisons have seen the field, so Murrow relying on that fitness here. And on the flip side for Belmont, it's not unfamiliar territory. In fact, it was only a few days ago against Georgia State that the Bruins found a winner in the 105th minute. Liam O'Brien with the game winner to defeat Georgia State 2-1 in overtime.
We mentioned Javon Smith being missing for the Bisons, and even though Liam O'Brien's been on the field for the Bruins, it kind of feels like he's been missing. He hasn't been up to his normal level of play of pressure against Sibley. It's primarily been Saunders who has been causing the Bisons problems. So I expect Saunders to continue to attack. And one thing to keep in mind, I believe that yellow card was assessed to Louis Robinson, who has been matching up against Saunders. So we're going to have to be aware of that situation late in this overtime period.
So as we await overtime in the Battle of the Boulevard, we'll take a look at the numbers through the first 90 minutes. Lipscomb outshooting Belmont 19-8, 5 shots on goal to Belmont's 4. So the Bruins have been efficient when they've arrived in the final third. 3 saves for each respective goalkeeper. A foul-littered match, 15 by Lipscomb, 12 by Belmont. And the Bisons with 10 corners to Belmont's 4. Was Belmont winning a penalty kick just before the half, 39th minute, converted by Nicola Dagnoni as he added to his goal tally on the season, his second. And then Lipscomb, thanks to Bagayoko in the 61st. We've seen so many times from those 10 corner kicks on the night, the ball pinballing around inside the box, and that time Bagayoko found the end of it and was able to send it past Drew Romig.
It's very much on brand for Lipscomb to continue to take those shots. You look at the shot total, you mentioned it, Lipscomb 19, Belmont 8, and those are right on par for what we see for them throughout the season. But one thing that's down for Lipscomb is both of them have been averaging around 40% shot on goal percentage. It is a little bit lower today, only 5 of the 19, so that's about 25% shot on goal percentage today. So Lipscomb just hasn't been as accurate as we typically expect them to be, even though we have seen very accurate crosses from multiple players.
Well, 2 miles is all that separates these two schools geographically, but 90 minutes, not enough to separate them on the field.
And starting the second half, it's interesting that Killian Burns stays in for Lipscomb even with that yellow card, and it is in fact Burl Shepard who is replaced here with Hayes Wood opening up the beginning of the first overtime period.
Lipscomb, the number 22 team in the country, looking to stay unbeaten as Belmont looks to win its first game at Lipscomb since 2004. Both teams start conference play next week, but there's no question every ounce of their attention is on this 10-minute period of overtime, which is underway. We're 50 seconds in. This is Leyva trying to shoulder off Scott Golden.
I saw some jersey tugging from both players. We've only seen the intensity of this game continue to pick up. Still sitting at 27 fouls, but our stat sheet has not updated since the 85th minute.
Stat sheet still stuck on the 86th minute as well as the clock on our live stream, but there are 8:37 remaining in the extra time period. A goal wins it. Approximately a year ago, really it was during that modified spring season, so not quite a year, but the last time these two played, it was Belmont finding the winner in overtime, and it was Liam O'Brien doing it just as he did against Georgia State only 4 days ago.
Lipscomb, meanwhile, also coming off of an double overtime game, but they weren't able to find the back of the net for those 20 minutes of extra play.
Yeah, 3-3 draw against ETSU right here on this field. Or excuse me, at ETSU over in Johnson City. Diagonal ball to Spicer. The flag is up.
There's a couple chances for Tyrese Spicer, blown off by an offsides call.
Well, you're seeing key attackers on the field at the moment, especially the guys with the pace that can win you a game late. Aries Marlinson, Liam O'Brien for Belmont, Tyrese Spicer for Lipscomb. How many more changes would you anticipate here over the course of the next 15 or so minutes?
I think it'll depend how late we get into this overtime period for
Free kick coming for Belmont.
And for all of you keeping up with the stats, like we mentioned, our clock is stuck on the 86th minute. Our stat crew is struggling with some internet issues, but hopefully we'll get that back up and running very soon, as Belmont has a dangerous chance here to set up in Bison territory.
6.5 to play in the first overtime. Golden arriving to end the danger. Lipscomb with the throw-in. Direct ball for Bagayoko. He's able to get to it, but it's great defending by Belmont for Lipscomb to win the free kick. It's excellent work by Belmont's Eric Stiles with 5:50 to go in the first overtime.
And Bagayoko, the thing that impressed me there, he's a very tall, large player for Lipscomb, a great presence to have up top. Doesn't always have the speed of Tyree Spicer, but he beats Stiles there on the outside to make that dangerous for Lipscomb and earn this corner kick.
It's a good ball in. It finds a Belmont head. Bagayoko's there, and Romig falls to his right to collect.
Bagayoko continues to fight through that one. A great chance for him. He has great vision inside the box and is very aware of where everyone is, where the ball is, and that's the kind of player that any coach would love to have on their team.
Saw that instinct on the 61st minute equalizer that fell to his feet inside the 18. It's a great ball to find Marlinson in behind. He whips it across, header out for a goal kick.
And I believe that actually was O'Brien that got the cross in.
O'Brien the cross in, Marlinson on the header. 4.5 to play in the first extra time period.
Both
Lipscomb.
goalies take their time here, giving their team time to set up. They want as much separation as possible between that ball and their goal. In overtime, it's all that more important knowing that as soon as the ball goes into the net, the game is over.
O'Brien and Chase. We approach the 4-minute mark of the first extra time. One of two 10-minute periods, but a goal ends the game. Golden. Twin brothers exchanging passes along the back.
We mentioned it in the second half, but with Kalala going out of this game and Turner coming in, Scott Golden has shifted to the right center back position. So he's working a little bit closer with his brother than we typically see.
It's a great chip ball for Bagayoko, but Romig reads it well.
Romig, we mentioned the transfer out of North Carolina. He may have only been with this team for 1 year, but his experience is insane.
3:20 to play in the first extra time. Another collision and another Bruin down. Free kick coming.
And I think we're getting another card against Lipscomb.
Yellow's given to Scott Golden. So the third booking on the Bisons tonight. Byrne and Robinson, the recipients of the first two. And this team's captain receives the third. And I believe that's Liam O'Brien on his back for the Bruins. Be able to get up on his own power. 3:07 to play in the first extra time. Correction, that was Esteban Leyva, the Coastal Carolina transfer, who was down on the ground. Came up in the Saprissa youth system in his home country of Costa Rica, the same club formerly of Nashville SC's Randall Leal. Free kick on its way, on target, and just poked out. I don't know if Sibley got a hand to it. He did. It's a corner kick. Jack Shaw with a laser directed into the bottom left corner. And the Bruins will go to the near corner. Actually, might have been Kyle Barks on the free kick. The Indiana transfer who has started every match of his career here at Belmont. Two and a half minutes to go in the extra time. That ball over everybody. Lipscomb trying to get this home win before embarking on a long road trip. As they start ASUN play at Bellarmine, then they head to Butler before finally returning home on the 25th to play Stetson. This team has covered so much ground this season. First two games out on the West Coast, 2 wins that really jump-started this electric beginning of the season at UCLA, a huge program.
And in the first 5 matches of the game, they've traveled 5,188 miles, which is a lot of wear and tear on these players. I mean, still obviously coming to class after the ETSU game, they got back at 3 in the morning. And then classes, they had class again yesterday and today. So they're enduring a lot, but I think they learned how to endure a lot in the COVID season last year when quarantines caused problems.
Bagayoko's free on the back post, and that's over the bar. What a golden opportunity for the Bisons to end this thing with 1:19 to go in the first extra time. That was Byrne with the opportunity served up on a platter by Bagayoko.
And so far in this overtime period, it's been Lipscomb who's had the better chances, at least put together organically. Belmont has had a fantastic chance off of the Jack Shaw free kick just a few minutes ago. But Lipscomb has continued to attack, and Bagayoko has been at the center of all of it.
Wood, take it to the goal line, tries to find the angle, skips into Romick. Belmont will head home to start SoCon play against Lipscomb's most recent opponent in ETSU. So it'll be a short trip back to Rose Park for the Bruins' next matchup. 18 seconds to go. Another 10 minutes will be played. Try and separate the two. With 5 seconds remaining, last-ditch throw-ins headed away, and that'll do it for the first extra time. More coming in the Battle of the Boulevard, a 1-1 game between Belmont and Lipscomb. We'll be back in just a moment. 10 minutes down, 10 to go in extra time, 1-1. A 39th minute penalty by Nicola Dagnoni put Belmont in front before the half. A 61st minute equalizer by Bagayoko, the graduate transfer from Cumberland, drew Lipscomb level. And now just under 10 minutes to separate the two in the 19th edition of the Battle of the Boulevard. Lucas Panzica, Erica Plunkett with you on this Tuesday evening. Appreciate you spending it with us. It's been a fun one, Erica.
It really has, and the intensity that picked up into the second half and into the first overtime period has just really helped amp up the rivalry. We've got a full crowd here tonight. It's a beautiful day for soccer, and so really we're just getting all the perfect conditions, and why not have 20 more minutes of some beautiful soccer. The one thing, though, that we're going to have to see here is Lipscomb was able to get some organic shots in the middle. They are now without Tyree Spicer starting the second overtime period, so trying to mix it up on offense and see if they can finish those chances. Meanwhile, Belmont's best chances have come off of, obviously, that penalty kick from Dagnoni, but also they've had a few free kicks that gave them some really good chances. So can Belmont come up with those chances organically, or are they going to have to rely on fouls from Lipscomb, of which there have been plenty?
Certainly has been a physical game, something you would expect whenever these two go head-to-head. -30 total fouls in this one. 16 committed by Lipscomb, the home side tonight. Crowd largely fully intact with 8.5 minutes to go in the second extra time. So if time expires, we'll end things level, though a goal would win it immediately.
And we don't often see a tie in the Battle of the Boulevard. It's been over 11 years since we have seen one.
Only 2 in the history between these two programs. Liam O'Brien, he found the winner not only in the last edition of this matchup, but in the last outing for Belmont in extra time. Saunders tears down the left flank, runs out of real estate.
And Saunders, who was originally lining up against Louis Robinson on Belmont's right side of the field, has kind of shifted over to Belmont's left side of the field, going up against the Golden Twins. And that's helpful for Lipscomb because Louis Robinson is sitting on a yellow card, and he's had to play physical tonight against Saunders to fight for those balls.
That was certainly one of the matchups we had circled going in, Louis Robinson against Michael Saunders, but haven't gotten to see much of it since the first half. 7 minutes to play. The second overtime period here at Lipscomb.
And for those first few minutes, Hayes Wood was sitting closer to the defensive line. I think he and Noah Golden will start alternating as to who goes up.
Bagayoko, nifty back heel, just couldn't quite connect. Lipscomb stays with it. Robinson says, why not, with the left foot. Goal kick coming.
And I believe that's the third chance we've seen like that from Louis Robinson. So close, one of them on target, had to get deflected out by Ronig.
So the question remains, if it ends a draw, who gets the trophy? You would think it would just remain with Belmont, but we don't really have much to go off of as far as these two, as you said, a number of years since that's happened, but still 6 minutes for one of these teams to find a winner.
There's really no precedent. And then on top of that, Lipscomb and Belmont have a annual Battle of the Boulevard rivalry. They're no longer in the same conference, but as that shot from Bagayoko goes wide, you can tell he's frustrated by it. Hayeswood goes to try to help him up, and he kind of yells him off. He knows he could have taken that one further in, but with the Battle of the Boulevard, it's something special across all Lipscomb sports. Lipscomb volleyball getting the win against Belmont volleyball tonight, 3-0. And the competition will continue throughout the year. Belmont winning that competition last year. But as far as the trophy, I don't know where it'll go. Maybe it'll just stay halfway in between the two schools.
Right, let's place it somewhere on Belmont Boulevard. Nicola Dagnoni back in the game for Belmont. He replaces Liam O'Brien. Big collision on the far side. We've seen several of those tonight. Free kick, Belmont.
I'm surprised that was called against Hayes Wood. It seemed like he was the one getting attacked by the Bruin defender. But this is where Belmont has been the most dangerous, are these set pieces as they go ahead and advance this one.
It's Saunders advancing it, and he's unable to win the corner as the ball deflects back off of him for a goal kick. And another change on its way for David Costa's Bruins.
Great play, though, by Scott Golden to stick with that one. Not only to get that one out of harm's way and to stop play for a second, but he also managed to earn his team a goal kick.
Esteban Lestido comes back in. With 4:10 to go. Saunders is on the bench. You wonder if his day is over.
With only 4 minutes left, I wouldn't expect him to come back into this one, but someone whose day is not over is Tyree Spicer, who's standing by the scorer's table, ready to come in and try to give Lipscomb that last bit of offensive intensity and finish this one out with just 4 minutes left.
And with the ball out of play, it is a Lipscomb throw-in. Spicer still waiting at midfield. It's actually called a free kick, so Spicer stretching out on the far side. The lead goal scorer for the Bisons won't have much time to make an impact if he does come back in with 3:22 to play. Golden with the service, wrestling in the box, looping header off the post. Bagayoko can't find the follow. And what an opportunity there.
But that initial header by Louis Robinson, nearly perfect placement. All credit, though, to Drew Romig to be able to get a hand on that one and keep it out of his goal. Louis Robinson has really, to me, been the MVP for the Bisons, offensively and defensively, going up against Saunders and then having excellent chances here.
And there's Robinson pressuring Romig as Spicer, who comes in for Bagayoko for the final 3 minutes, bombs one into the box. So Tyrese Spicer, 4 goals on the season, had a hat trick just 2 games ago in the win over Evansville. Electric pace, one of the best prospects to come out of Trinidad, according to many sources. Could he make the ultimate difference? 2:25 to play. Lipscomb has applied the pressure in both overtime periods so far. Leyva ends up with it. He had Marlinson running down the left channel, but it was cut off.
An interesting decision there by Leyva. He seemed to have plenty of time and rushed that pass to Marlinson and gives the Bisons new life, because that really could have been a very, very dangerous chance for the Bruins.
So this is Bagayoko. Incorrectly said he left the game for Spicer. It was actually Hayes Wood who exited for the sophomore. So Bagayoko, the Lipscomb goal scorer today, still in. To Golden in the center circle. Minute 43 to go on the clock. No stoppage time. It's a hard stop. 100 seconds remain. Bagayoko. Cavalar inside.
This is some of the best passing that we've seen all day from either team. As there, it seemed like an obvious foul missed.
Still ends up with Robinson. Looped in. Minute to go. On the right foot and bombed well over everybody by Burl Shepard. And one more change for Belmont. A Bruin is down. Clock is moving with 55 seconds to go. Boos rain down from the home crowd, as JP Armbruster is the one to come back in for Belmont.
The Lipscomb fans want to make sure that they got one more crack at this one before this game is over.
Clock is stopped at 55.
Belmont has really suffered through a lot of cramps this afternoon. A lot of players have had to get stretched out, and we've seen several more subs for the Bruins than we have seen for the Bisons.
Well, these two have not finished in a draw in this decade. But unless a spark is found with 55 seconds left, that'll be the case tonight. Would only be the third ever draw between the two programs. As Lipscomb, a 4-0-1 start to the season, the best in program history. They've risen up to a number 22 ranking in the country. Belmont recovered after 2 losses to open up the campaign, 3 wins in a row. They were here looking to tie the longest win streak in program history. That'll be a Lipscomb free kick. They'll stop the clock again. That'll allow Lipscomb to get organized and push numbers forward.
Belmont players trying to kick that one away and run timeout, and it ends up letting Lipscomb stop the clock.
Clock resumes here, 45 seconds left. William Turner. Left-footed delivery floated in, no problems for Romig, who does have to punch it out. One more last-ditch effort could be in play here. It's a good turn by Golden. Corner kick on its way, 27 seconds. The dying moments here in the Battle of the Boulevard. Certainly a win would come at the death now. 15 seconds. It's got to happen quick. Head is found on it, but it goes backwards. 10 seconds to go. That's out for a throw-in, and there may not be enough time. Bombed in, flicked back. Somebody's on the back post, and it's clattered in. No goal. No goal. This thing's going to end in a draw. Was hard to tell who rushed into the back post. And Lipscomb players arguing it furiously. And now the referees will convene.
I thought that shot was in the net. Even the second attempt seemed to be before the last second ticked off the clock.
Now some shoving going on in the box. Players streaming into the 18. Could you have a more dramatic ending in this rivalry? My goodness. Conference still happening between officials. They're somewhere in there.
Coaches now have to come out and stop everyone.
Final decision. This game ends in a draw. Again, didn't see who got on the end of that ball. It was a header to the back post. It was saved by Romig, but a Bison came in late to bundle it in as the clock hit 0. The question was, did it happen before that moment? But referee Amin Hadzik is saying no, it did not.
And the refs are trying to get out here as quickly as possible. The coaches are trying to make sure their players are well out of the way. I saw Coach Morrow yelling at his team to get back over to the sideline.
What a finish here, but it looks like
by Louis Robinson to go over and shake all the refs' hands and really just show that they're grateful for their contribution to this game, even though it did not turn out like they hoped. And I think like Lipscomb believed it did happen. There's obviously no instant replay. I feel very confident they'll go back and look at the tape on this one, but that doesn't change the results. A well-fought match from both of them. Belmont getting lucky off of a penalty kick in the first half, and Lipscomb finally able to respond in the second half.
That's right, it was the 39th minute penalty kick converted by Dagnoni, the talisman for the Bruins. Lipscomb found the equalizer in the 61st minute. 2 10-minute extra time periods. Lipscomb certainly will feel hard done by. Outshot the Bruins tonight, 28-9. 7 of those on goal. Bruins with 5 on goal. But at the end of the day, Lipscomb, after 4 consecutive wins to open the season, pick up their second draw. And now at 4-0-1, will head into ASUN play at Belmont. Picks up its first draw of the season. 3 wins, 2 losses, and a tie. They will host ETSU. Erica, it certainly never disappoints. Nobody came out on the winning end of it, but this is a match that's going to be remembered the next time these two play.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a match I think that they both remember all season long. And I think that it'll give them both some extra motivation going into this weekend. They didn't end necessarily on a bad note. It's just this is the type of game that you leave and you come back the next week even more amped up and ready to go. I'm sure we'll see that from the Bisons. The one thing I think that was the difference maker was the lack of Tyree Spicer. He really never came into his own. The Bisons were lucky to have Bagayoko really step up today, and I think that he'll continue that trend into conference play. But for the Bisons to stay consistent, obviously they want to get Javon Smith back. We don't know where he's been the last 2 games, hasn't been able to play for them, but we really have got to see Tyree Spicer. But I think credit, we mentioned Louis Robinson going over to talk to the refs, but he really was the star of this match, put together a lot of chances for Lipscomb and did a fantastic job against Saunders on the defensive end, especially as they had to shift as William Turner moved over to his side when Kalala went down. So great work by Robinson, and then the Golden Twins, per usual, were doing a fantastic job on defense.
And the final score, 1-1 in the Battle of the Boulevard. That trophy will have to either stay with Belmont or they'll have to just place it somewhere on the concrete of Belmont Boulevard. Lipscomb with 2 road games as both teams jump into conference play. For Lipscomb in the ASUN at Bellarmine at Butler before returning home against Stetson next Saturday. That game will be right here on the YouTube live stream. But for our whole crew, Erica Plunkett, Tristan Glenn, and Tanner Hibbs, I'm Lucas Panzica. The Battle of the Boulevard finishes in a 1-1 draw. Good night.